Swamp Ape here to bring you the science. It's Monday, which means we're talking about monitors, lizards of the genus Varanus. And what better way to kick off this new video series than the monitor who monitors, Varanus panoptes, the Argus monitor. Etymology and species. Before we discuss how the monitor who monitors got its name, we need to go back even further and learn where the name Varanus itself came from. But before we get into how these names came to be, please understand, I'm no perfect pronouncer. I may slip up a few words, but the spirit of the word is still there. So, the genus name of Varanus is derived from the Arabic word waral, which meant lizard beast. This name would eventually become the name for the genus when Carl Linnaeus gave the Nile monitor, now Varanus niloticus, the species name Lacerta monitor. This was because Linnaeus mistakenly believed the German word for these lizards, waran, which was borrowed from the original Arabic word, was connected to the German word warnen, which meant to warn, which led him to Latinize it as monitor, which was warner or advisor. Later, when monitor lizards were split into their own genus away from Lacerta, a variation of the original Arabic word was used as the genus name. Linnaeus' name would go on to remain as the common name for this genus of lizards. I promise to only go over the etymology of the genus this once, and all following episodes of Monitor Mondays, trademark pending, we'll only be going over the species names. Now, onto the species name for this week's subject. Panoptes. The name Panoptes comes from the Greek legend Argus Panoptes, a mythical feature possessing 100 eyes who was the watcher and protector of Princess Io. This is where also its common name, the Argus monitor, comes from. Its other common name being the yellow-spotted monitor. An incredibly fitting name considering one of the more unique behaviors employed by this species, which will be discussed in just a bit. Varanus panoptes also has 3 subspecies names under its belt, being Varanus panoptes panoptes, the type specimen, sometimes referred to as the floodplains monitor in some of the northern regions of Australia, as well as Varanus panoptes rubidis, named for its more reddish coloration, and Varanus panoptes horni, named after Hans Georg Horn, a very prominent herpetologist who particularly loved monitors and unfortunately passed away in 2019. Sometimes it's given the name Horn's monitor. Now that we understand what its name means, why don't we look into the animal itself and see what makes them unique. The Argus monitor is a large ground-dwelling lizard somewhat resembling its smaller cousin, the widespread sand monitor, with whom it used to share the same species. These are rather large monitors, being the 3rd largest monitor in Australia, behind the lace monitor and the parenti. Argus monitors display a great deal of sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism is where 2 different sexes of any given species have different physical characteristics, like how male deer have large antlers and females generally lack them. Or, in the case of the Argus monitor, the males are far larger. Females on average will reach a length of about 90 centimeters or 3 feet. Whereas males can reach up to 120 to 150 centimeters, or 4.5 to 5 feet, and have an overall more bulky build. Some of the largest records for this species have males up to 1.6 meters, or 5 foot 3 inches, and 7 kilograms, or 15 pounds. Argus monitors are generally light brown dorsally on their backs, which fades into a yellow ventral on their bellies, with spots throughout the body of a bright yellow color, right until the tail, where a banded pattern takes over. These monitors are generally quite leanly built and very smooth, not possessing any ridges or osteoderms, which is a trait we'll discuss more in other monitors. Like all monitors, Argus monitors possess a long forked tongue used to help them smell their environment, in search of things like prey, a mate, or a good nesting site. Argus monitors possess very robust forelimbs in comparison to many other monitors, which helps them excavate burrows to find prey or to hide themselves, or to build complex nesting structures. Their tails are also very robust in comparison to some of the other monitors, which are generally more well adapted for swimming, though this doesn't stop them from being great swimmers. The robust tail does, however, act as a great defensive tool and gives them the support to exhibit their unique tripod behavior that helps them survey a wide range of habitats that they inhabit. Geographical range. Starting with our type species, Varanus panoptes panoptes, its range is massive, spanning most of northern Australia from the northern tip of Western Australia through the upper half of the North Territory and into Queensland, where it occupies much of the state. Next we have Varanus panoptes rubidis, which is found entirely within Western Australia, where it occupies most of the Pilbara and Gascogne regions, reaching down into the goldfields and west into the arid interior. And finally, we have Varanus panoptes horni, which exhibits the smallest range of the three subspecies and is the only one to range outside of Australia, being only found in the southern center of the island of Papua New Guinea, closest to Australia's northernmost coastline, where they likely made the journey to New Guinea from. As far as habitat types occupied go, it doesn't get much more diverse than those of the Argus monitor, especially amongst other monitors. They have been found from beaches, to coastal forest, to tropical rainforest, to dry scrub forest, to floodplains, to scrub lands, to open deserts. Argus monitors are habitat generalists, able to survive a wide range of different habitat types, which help them facilitate their spread across most of northern Australia and into New Guinea. They, however, owe a lot of this to their dietary generalist lifestyle, which will be discussed in our next section, diet. As this is the first episode of Monitor Monday, I'll give a brief overview of monitor diets as a whole, then we'll go into the specifics, or not so specific in the case of the Argus, in each of their respective episodes. Monitor lizards generally are classed as carnivores, meaning they almost exclusively prey on or scavenge on other animals. I say almost because a select few species do exhibit some omnivory, with most being frugivorous. Now onto the diet of the Argus monitor itself, and honestly, the answer is any animal that is either smaller than itself or already deceased. Prey on everything from insects to crustaceans to fish to rodents to birds to lizards including other monitors to even venomous snakes like the mulga and the taipan. Any smaller animal that they can overpower and thrash to death is happily eaten and usually swallowed whole. They have also been seen scavenging on the carcasses of animals larger than themselves, such as kangaroos and domestic animals like sheep, goats, and cattle, which all likely perished in road collisions or to the harsh desert climate. This generalist carnivore diet is a large part of what has allowed them to spread through such a large area and through so many habitats and find success in each of them. However, that generalist diet may also be landing them in some hot water currently, as areas afflicted with the invasive cane toads have seen sharp decline in populations of Argus monitors who are used to eating a number of amphibian species, but were woefully unprepared for the introduction of this new toxic terror. Behavior. This is a section where I get to discuss some of the unique adaptations and behaviors exhibited by the subject of this video. Or in other words, my reward for getting through the rest of the script, because boy do I love discussing unique adaptations and behaviors of animals. Of course, the main course here is the behavior that makes Argus monitors so unique amongst an already unique clade of lizards. A behavior that has earned this monitor the name the monitor who monitors. Tripoding. Tripoding is where the monitor will raise itself onto only its back limb, supporting itself with its robust tail, entering more of a bipedal position. This behavior can be exhibited for multiple reasons, such as appearing larger and more intimidating to a rival or would-be predator, usually accompanied by the flaring of their gular pouch, this little bit here. Or it can be used to do the namesake, monitoring. The Argus monitor will stand up in tripod to survey its environment, giving itself a better view with its excellent vision over the shorter plants and structures that line its environment. They can use this to look out for potential prey, predators, or even rival monitors. Now if you think that's cool, wait till you hear about some of their nesting behavior. But before we get into that, let's preface with something that really needs to be talked about with monitors as a whole, but definitely with Argus monitors, and that is intelligence. Monitors as a whole are amongst the most, if not the most intelligent non-avian reptiles. They have shown in multiple studies to be capable of problem solving and even counting up to 6, which is incredible of any animal, even more so of a reptile. Now that I've touched a little bit on the fact that these are incredibly intelligent animals, which I promise will be a recurring theme, let's talk about that nesting behavior. It's wacky to say the least, or you could even say it's screwy. Not only are Argus monitors building these incredibly complex corkscrew nesting structures, which mind you, are the deepest nesting excavations produced by any nesting tetrapod alive today, but they're doing so communally with a number of females. Not only will multiple females lay separate clutches in one of these burrows, but there will be entire warrens of up to 30 of these communal burrows. Yes, that's right. Warren-building monitor lizards living communally are a thing. And when I say communal, I really do mean communal. There have been individual nests found with over 100 eggs in them. And not only that, but females are known to dig false nesting burrows away from the real ones to throw off would-be egg thieves. There's a lot of theories surrounding the reason why they make such complex systems, like maximizing soil humidity, or avoiding possible, now extinct predators like Komodo dragons and Megalania. But what isn't a theory is that that is an amazing behavior. Now I know there are many other cool behaviors to discuss, like prey acquisition, venom resistance, and unique breathing styles to monitors, but these are all things that will come up as we discuss many of the other monitor species going forward. Threats. Thankfully, the Argus monitor is currently listed as least concerned by the IUCN. However, that does not mean that it doesn't face any threats, and specific populations have been shown to be in sharp decline. Natural predators of the Argus monitor include snakes, predatory birds, and other lizards, and occasionally large fish when they're juveniles. Adults face far fewer natural predators, only really having to worry about larger monitors like the parenti, wedge-tailed eagles, saltwater crocodiles, dingoes, and the olive python. The Argus monitor does face a few non-native threats as well, including predation of their young by feral cats and foxes, as well as habitat destruction by horses, goats, camels, and worst of all, poisonings by ingesting the invasive cane toads, which has led to a sharp decline in several populations of Argus monitors. However, Argus monitors' greatest threats come not from the natural sources, but from man. Besides the usual habitat destruction, these lizards are often feared and seen as livestock pests, so are unjustly persecuted and killed in many areas of their range. Besides direct human conflict, one of the single greatest killers of this species in particular is roads. Roads not only provide clear open areas that are great for basking, but also for observing their surroundings. Couple that with plenty of roadkill to scavenge on, and Argus monitors find themselves all too often the victims of vehicular lizard slaughter, becoming the very roadkill they sought to feed upon. Some Argus monitors are collected for the captive trade, but you'll find that with many Australian animals, that's not all too prevalent of a threat due to stricter captive wildlife laws in Australia. However, the New Guinea subspecies, Varanus panoptes horni, is often collected for the captive trade for export to other countries like the United States. Thankfully, they're quite regularly captive bred now, and the stigmas against wild-caught animals have reduced the demand for wild-caught specimens. Conclusion. Well, not my favorite monitor. Don't worry, we'll get there. Y'all will know. The Argus monitor is, in my opinion, the quintessential monitor. It is an active, intelligent, and observant predator. And it is the monitor who monitors. And though I call it the quintessential monitor, you will learn throughout this journey that despite belonging to one genus, Varanus is a group of incredibly diverse lizards that all exhibit a unique range of styles, habitats, and behaviors. Just an absolutely incredible group of animals. So, please like and subscribe, and I would love to hear your comments about which animals you'd like to see me cover, or if you have a particularly favorite species of Varanus yourself. I mean, we'll get to mine eventually.